Hi, I'm Adrian, and I'm a Bootstrap founder.
Hi, I'm Adrian, and I'm VC-backed founder.
And we are two Adrians walk into a startup. Now, I want to talk about heights.
Yeah.
I must confess, I am scared of heights. So, if I would be in a very long, big, tall building and look down, anxiety, fear, all of those negative emotions are going through my body. I never really overcame that fear, but I did a lot to improve my fear in that case. So this was since when I was young, as I would scream like when I saw the edge of the building, like go crazy. And one of the things which I was doing back then, when I was younger, I was doing parkour. So parkour, like you jump from the wall, you do like tricks, jump building to building, get in trouble maybe sometimes, but okay, maybe that's not. And it's interesting because I was scared of heights, yet I was jumping building from building, for example, right? I was doing things from high altitudes. I even was jumping from very high places. Like I remember jumping from, first or second floor on the grass, like from a building, a balcony. So I was doing also some high jumps, doing tricks as well, doing, A to B runs. And every time I would jump like from a big height or just like jump from a building, like do something scary, like parkour can get scary. The fear was there, but despite the fear, I would do it. Now, it won't be like stupid, like, oh, I'm so scared, I'm going to do it, like go. No, it was calculated risk. Most people who do parkour, they do it progressively. So they first start like, okay, I'm going to jump from this ledge to this ledge. 10 centimeters. Then they go a bigger distance and so on. So you're trying to master every jump you're doing, you mastered it. And let's say you're going to jump from a building to building. Well, let's say that's a 2-meter gap. You practice it so much on the ground floor or like in a low risk area that the moment you're going to do it on the big stage, aka building to building, it doesn't matter. You can do it, you can execute it. It's just mental, the whole thing. It's the same jump. It's just maybe the
environment is different.
The environment is different. And in case you're wondering, what the F are you talking about, Adrian? This is a business podcast. I think strongly, and this is my opinion, all fears are interconnected also to business. I do not believe that your personal life and your business life are separate when it comes to fear. And I think that these are intertwined. So what you overcome as a person, fear-wise, also affects the fears you overcome in business. I don't think they're separate. Now, finally, to finish up the story with the parkour, I never overcame the fear of heights, but I can deal with it. I can, go in a top building, look down. I maybe still have some negative feelings, but my thinking is very clear. So it's not affected at all by the heights. The emotions don't affect me anymore. Maybe they're not so strong. It never disappeared though. So maybe it's for the better because it's like, oh, I have no fear. Let me just jump casually from 200 store building. So maybe it's good that you have some fear, but I do not have to act on it. My thought process is unchanged. It's very calm. And with that, I want to ask you, going back to business, what is fear in the context of a startup for you?
Fear of doing accountability for my company. It's counting because I really, really fear to do accountability every month and looking for
not accountability. I think you mean accounting, right? Like
accounting,
book checking, bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping. Yeah. It's counting because it's a big fear for me.
Is it a fear because of the government that you're not paying your taxes or you don't have your paper?
It's the fear of being some kind of illegal. I don't know, probably you forgot some invoices, you forgot to declare some taxes, you forgot something that you have to do from the point of view of current legislation. or also fear of missing other important things to do, missing the important time that you can invest in doing other type of stuff much more valuable for you. For example, from my point of view, doing accounting for the company, it's not a really big job, deal, whatever process for me, doesn't produce much value. But the fear of missing that time instead of investing in other stuff that I really want to put my time, that's the thing that affects me.
I would like maybe to reformulate my question because I realize failure is one thing and one is being scared of something.
Yeah.
I think they're related, right? It's the same emotion, just the angle is different. So maybe what is doing the things which scare you mean in the context of a startup? What would that mean?
First of all, you also have things that will scare you when building a business and also will have in real life. And for me, that it's translated in something like that. For example, I have a story in my mind. Back to a few years ago, when I tried first time to raise money, I had the fear of taking the money from the investors and losing that money. So practically, the fear of not being good enough and knowing what to do with the money.
Is it fear of failure?
Fear of failure.
Or fear of disappointment, which are kind of related a bit, but not the same.
I think it's a combination of both of them, because it was the fear of failure and fear, of course, of disappointing, because that people invest their money in my company to grow my business, my startup, and whatever. I had a strong fear and feeling of disappointing the people. And what I did back then was simple, just to take the money, because it's not a rational approach to solve your fear, because the fears, and especially emotionals, are not rational things, are something that you feel, something that probably was growth in your mind during your life. So maybe you have a lot of fears behind your fears. That was what helped me doing the things instead of the fear, and try to solve the on the way.
So the fear was a motivation to act on the fear rather than scaring you away from the thing. So that's a signal in your brain, like, I'm scared,
I have to do it.
I have to do it.
Yeah. And this is kind of a part of my personality. Something, some time when I saw something that activate any kind of fear in me, it's kind of a trigger and a signal to have to me regarding to the fact that I have to look in that direction, and I have to resolve something related to that point of origin of the fear. And I have another story here. For example, for a long period of time, I had a fear of firing people, because I think
fear of rejection, I guess, here, but the other side,
yeah, fear of rejection, because I didn't feel comfortable doing that, and I know I have to do in certain situations, because we have to, I don't know, probably have problem with cash flow or something like that, or the person that didn't perform at a certain level. And this is one of the mistake that I made in the past. I postponed the firing event for someone for a long period of time is based on that fear of rejection, on what was in my mind, something related to I wasn't good enough as a manager, as a founder, as a leader, because I have to fire people. And I failed as a leader because I cannot learn enough that person to perform well in our environment.
You bring up an interesting point. So one of the punishments you get if you do not act on your fears is that you might have inactions because of that, which might lead to regrets.
Yeah.
Because I read a study. Sorry, I didn't read the story. So I read sometimes studies. I literally read like the white paper. No, I read the headline. Okay.
Okay.
I read the headline, or I listened from a podcast about this, that people regret more things they didn't do in action, rather the things they did. So because you did something, that was the best you could do, like you cannot regret because that's what, it was the action, what you thought the best back then. But in action, it's like, what if?
Yeah.
What if I fired him earlier?
Yeah. And this is something that I learned on my own, from my own mistakes.
So when you learn that fear is a problem that you have to take action on, and the moment you didn't know action, you got then regret. So now when you have fear, I'm so scared to do it, but you're scared more of the fear of the regret. So you have one more fear now added because of that.
Yeah, so basically the new fear overcame the last fear.
I see. Fear of rejection is a very strong motivation for all people.
Yeah.
I agree. I think I don't have any advice for anyone regarding dealing with that. But yeah, I mean, I think if you think in your business that you're not taking enough action, is it because of a fear? Because I think, are you lazy that you're not taking action, or is it actually, no, it could be also that you don't have time, right? That's also something. But if that time, like you have the mental capacity to do the thing, if you're not doing it, in that particular case is...
From my experience, most of the time, the fact that I don't take actions came mostly from some kind of fears that I have. That is the main reason, if I have to be honest with me. Of course, there is some few exceptions. For example, when I feel exhausted, mentally exhausted, or you enter in some decision fatigue and you are unable to take more decisions, so you need to some time to recharge. But mostly times, that is the main reason that I postpone the decisions.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that particular thing.
Yes, and the interesting part is, at the beginning, probably you don't feel enough the other side of the fear that can appear. For example, fear of not taking actions and fear of consequence. But in time, doing this mistake on your own, you learn if you are open to understand. So basically, if you take your pain from actions that you postpone and apply some layer of reflection. Okay, what I did better here.
What could I have done better?
Yeah, what I could have done better here. What I can improve in the future. Whatever kind of reflections. That means sort of minimum progress for you.
Yeah, for sure. Now, we talked about fear. We understand that fear of um, the fear of not rejection but of regret is very strong to go overcome that. Risk and fear are related. Would you agree on that?
Yeah.
Taking risk and taking, yeah. So one is like, oh, risk taking in personal life, and one is taking risk in a business. I would say they're kind of the same, but something might be different between us two. I'm a bootstrap founder. Taking risk is very personal for me because my business is kind of myself, right? But you are a VC-backed startup, and that means you have capital. Did that change how you see risk and how you fear things?
Yeah, definitely. Because taking a risk in a VC-backed founders, it's not more about you as a personal level. It's not anymore just your business and that's it. You have investors, you raise capital with certain targets and certain level of revenue that you have to reach in a period of time. So having that highly pressure environment force you to make a riskier decision.
Why is it high pressure?
The pressures came always from the investor sides. And apart from the investor sides, because they invest money, they want to multiply their revenue. Statistically, probably 1 or 2 startups from 10 they return the invest. So basically, that 1 or 2 startups have to be really, really big. So the pressure is applied for every startup from their portfolio.
Because they have to compensate, yeah.
Yeah, because they have to compensate. The pressures came a lot from the investors, but also from the way it's building a VC-backed company. Because when you're building a bootstrap company, you have a very lean process of building the business. So you don't grow artificially and you don't grow in a fast scale way. You grow more organically. But in a VC-backed founder, having this pressure of high returns for investor, you have to take bigger risk. You have to hire people faster. You have to introduce faster, I don't know, some kind of head of whatever position, but you are 3 people in your startup, but you have head of whatever. And this kind of artificial growth, it's probably one of the main cause that startups died, because you don't have enough time to build your foundation, a strong foundation. And from my lessons, from my mistake and my lessons, I think the best way to build a company, from my point right now, it's to bootstrap from 0 to, I don't know, probably 1 million or something like that, because this is the process when you have a solid foundations. And from there, if you want to scale faster and bigger, sure, take money from the investors, because you have probably the process, you really have a good product market fit, you probably know really, really better who is your customers. You don't...
the hard work is done per se as like the fundamentals, and the rest is like you can hire someone like growth for scale, growth of marketing, sales team, etc., which just accelerate the growth rather than it's building upon what is working already, which is easier than building the actual thing.
Because otherwise you will be a small company, few people, you didn't figure out a lot of things, but you are forced to figure out all of these things. And usually you hire someone to solve your problems, but nobody understands your business better than you.
Well, you see, you say that as a bootstrapper, you don't have like, just bootstrap your business, etc. But There's also a lot of pressure when running a bootstrap. I mean, I don't know myself. I cannot say. Maybe other founders are like stressless, but I'm stressful.
Mhm.
For me, it was a stressful situation. Now it's better, but in the beginning, it was very stressful. I said a bit earlier that personal decisions and bootstrap business or business decisions for me were the same.
Yeah.
I'll give you one example. So one of the big risk which I took was investing in SEO. So SEO, search engine optimization, is a very good way to build organic growth on your website. Now, what was the risk here? Well, first of all, I didn't know it, and I learned by myself how to do this. But I initially, what I didn't told is that while I was writing articles, beginning myself, I also hired someone to write me a blog article, like a handful of them, because I want to see what an expert would do. And I would like, hey, I have this in my product, etc. Like, okay, this is the keywords which I found. So, learn from basically of work of others to understand what I really need for my business. That came with a financial cost. So initially, Clean Voice, I think I invested, like for this, it was 1,500 euros I paid this person for, I don't know, remember the details, but I remember, I think like 1,000 or 1,500 I paid this person for, I don't know how many words, I think like 5,000 or 8,000 words, something like that. And that was risk because back in then my bank account was like 3,000 euros left or 4,000 euros left. So that's a big significant of personal money invested in this. And back then my revenue was 100 euros per month or something like that. So that could not cover at all the costs of something like that. And yeah, okay, what are the fears you're fearing? Well, financial stress is significant, right? When you don't know if you're going to have enough money for tomorrow, you feel it, right?
Yeah.
Now, I got used to it, which funny enough, I just feeling that fear constantly, kind of like, yeah, whatever, bro. Yeah, okay, fine. Interesting side effect, right? Like, it's fine if I have no money because I'm used to feeling like, paycheck by paycheck.
Yeah, if you stay long enough in a situations that activates your fear, probably you will learn how to deal better.
Yeah. So there is, I think, you still have a pressure to grow quickly because you're running out of money, right? Personal money in that case. So you still have a pressure to grow, but then it's even, I think, a bit worse sometimes. Yeah, sure, I don't have external pressure. It's more internal. But the internal one is very big because, like, if I fail, okay, FLVC back company, no problem, right? It's not the biggest big issue ever, right? You can start another company and then be considered a serial entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
But when running Bootstrap, that will have a huge financial setback, where it will take a lot of time to get to enough money to do it again, right? So it is significant pressure, and yeah, I wouldn't say maybe it's easier than you, I don't know, but because it's personal fear, it's like your life you feel, because it kind of is. Is it really, worse or harder? Hard to say, right? It's what can you deal better with? Can you deal with pressure of others, or is it easier to deal with your personal suffering?
For me, I think it's I'm better at dealing with my personal suffer rather than pressure from other people.
And I think that's a distinguished thing when you start a company. You need to feel what can you do better with.
Yeah, but this thing is really strong connected with who you are as a person. For example, in my case, my type of personality, kind of I'm little nice guy. So I am constantly look and try to please the people around me. So basically, that's for me, it's much easier to deal with my pressure, internal pressure, instead of pressure from outside.
I understand. Now, we have talked about, I guess, some differences between Bootstrap and VC. I guess the fear is kind of the same, just a bit different. We could say in the end of the day, it's not such a big deal. But again, personal or dealing with other people,
Conclusion: it's not an easy way.
there you still have to do a lot of development.
Yeah.
And I think that's, there are a lot of fears you have to overcome. Mainly is failure of, I think the first one you deal is the fear of rejection, because you're going to have to talk with customers. Like, you're not going to sell anything if you don't know with people. So that's a good skill to have, right? Just, doing some basic sales, approaching people, contacting, etc. It is uncomfortable, but you got to do it. There's no way to do it.
Yeah.
And, just because it's fear doesn't mean it's bad, because these are fears. Most of the fears you have, I think, are healthy fears, as in, like, they push you out of the comfort zone to become a better founder or even a better person, I would say, argue.
Yeah, but not fear push you out of the comfort zone. Fear are there to keep you in the comfort zone. But you, with the right mindset, can go outside your comfort zone.
The fears are there as a signal to take the action, because if you don't, then you're going to have to deal with the fear of regret. And if you feel regret more than whatever you're fearing now, then maybe it's worth pursuing it. Now, it depends, right? Like, I fear jumping from the building. What if I jump from a 100-store building? Man, I regret jumping from a 100-store building.
Yeah, it's okay. I can live with that.
Yeah, I can live. Well, some not. Yeah. Somehow we enter the suicide section very quickly. Okay, good. Now, I think we need to wrap it up nicely. So we got the conclusion, how we can deal with this. But I want to maybe end with each maybe a personal story of what we were fearing, we did it, and maybe we did something and we failed completely. Because sometimes even if you're scared of something and you do everything possible to avoid the thing which you fear, it can still happen. So I'll give you like one non-business and business example. I was in, I don't know, 16, 17, and I was in the airport, and I saw a girl, and but from the back, I wasn't sure. I didn't saw her from. I'm like, you know what? There's a girl. I'm going to approach her. Basically hit on her.
Hit or miss.
Exactly. Throw my shots. It was scary because, like, man, it's an airport. Like, well, it's a bit weird, like a bit awkward situation. But like, like, what's the worst gonna happen, right? Like, the worst case, I get rejected, etc. I approached her, and then when like, hey, blah blah. When she turned around, I saw her face. I thought she was like 16, like my age or something like that. But she was like, I don't know. Late 20s, maybe early 30s. And like, shit. Like, hey, hey, girl. Yeah, what's up? Yeah. And it was, very awkward because, like, yeah, obviously, what the fuck you're doing, bro? But I still, went on. And then later on, like, I said, sorry, I thought you're kind of my age. And she's like, oh, thank you. Because, that's a big compliment, of course. Yeah. Telling the person they're younger that they actually are. And in the end of the day, it was a lot of, like, oh shit, this is the worst thing that could ever happen. And she was like looking me, giving me not good vibes. Definitely how I approached, like, okay, it could have been maybe worse. I don't know. Definitely could have been way worse. But I managed to get my way from the situation. But, you do things, you fear of it, and it can still happen. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Sometimes the consequences are not that bad. In this case, we just had to laugh about it because I was honest about what I did, and she found it, a bit funny, basically. Now, okay, sorry. Now about business.
Yeah.
So before Clean Boys, I tried 5 projects, right? And Clean Boys is the last one, which I guess is successful. Like, people could argue, yeah, that's a successful startup. For my third project, or second project, I think, I went to a random like startup weekend event where you spend the weekend, try to build your idea, and pitch, do like a pitch competition, and everybody feels amazing and blah blah blah. So one of those pitch competition startup events where you meet new people, try to make a business model, present it, and maybe win the prize. In the first day, everybody could go on the stage and pitch their ideas. I was scared. I wasn't a public speaker, and I didn't knew, I was scared that I would stutter, I would, not present it nicely. And everybody was presenting ideas like, is there anyone who wants to still present their idea? And then, convince people to join their team for the competition. And they're like, okay, no more. I'm like, I want to present, just force myself. That was the worst pitch of my life. I had a piece of paper. I could not read because the lights were blinding me because it was a stage. I was how I was pitching? Something like this. Hi, my idea is we want to do this. And this I want to do. So imagine like that. I was getting like pity claps, pitiful. Like it was so bad for them. Too awkward that, it was very awkward, the whole situation. So kind of the worst thing could happen, right? But after that, because I overcame that and even the worst thing happened, like, okay, if that's the worst thing ever, the second time won't be that bad. And definitely improved. So sometimes maybe you have to experience that fear. Maybe the failure or whatever you want, negative thing you're running away, let's say it happens and you feel it. Negative emotions are not all bad. Negative emotions are there sometimes, sometimes be useful to grow as a person. It's your signal to change.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's all that bad. Just to keep mind. Even if you fail, it sucks. But after the sucking, like if you think more in horizon, sometimes, not always, it can make you a better person because you experience that negative emotion.
Yeah, definitely. And one important part that you mentioned before, there is two types of a decision that you can make. It's a decision with a result that's irreversible. So you can change quick. So for example, I don't know, you forgot to buy toilet paper. So basically it's a decision that you can fix really, really quick. But another type of situations and decision that you can take or not are something that will see the results long time after the point. So this is probably one of the most difficult decision to take or not, because you don't see the results fast enough. It's more like a bet, so the fear it's much more amplified. And here I have a story from Vatis when we tried the first time to implement the public upload in order to grow the SEO for our site. So basically to attract more customers organically. And the first attempt to implement this thing was, I don't know, probably 1.5 years ago. But we didn't do it because for the engineering team seems too complicated to implement this type of public upload. So we basically, I don't know, killed the decision from that
We didn't
moment.
do it anymore.
Yeah. But 1 year later, we saw a lot of people that did the same fucking thing as us, and they grow organically aggressively. So we come back to the decision, analyze again, and seems not to be really complicated as in the first situation. So in 2 weeks, we also implement the public upload, but was kind of late.
Yeah, you still benefited, but I don't think it benefited so much as if you benefit back then.
Yeah.
Okay, but here it was. But I guess what you're saying with Irreversible is more like, okay, let's say you like YouTube Premium, or you also like Spotify.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to understand. Like, oh, I'm going to take 1 month Spotify. Actually, I like YouTube more. I'm going to cancel this month Spotify and then go back to YouTube. The cost wasn't so big. You can still switch.
Yeah.
But if you have like something, you have to subscribe for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's maybe still reversible, but it's kind of it's on the borderline, right? And if something you have to commit for life, you have to marry YouTube, and you have to cancel Spotify. You can never use Spotify again.
Yeah, it's a big
no
decision.
cheating allowed. Then it's the pressure is more, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, by the way, if you have any comments about what we should talk about next, or also tell us about your last fearful situation you had as a founder. We read every message you send us. So share your stories or tell us what you think about it. And see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.